is Maura Gillespie. She's a former press advisor to then Speaker of the House John Boehner, more recently Adam Kinzinger, and Democratic strategist Julie Roginski, co-founder of Lift Our Voices. Thank you guys for being here. Maura, let's start here. Are these foreign aid bills that this is all wrapped up in when we're talking about Mike Johnson's job, are they a path for Mike Johnson to save his job, or is he sure to lose his job, do you think?
I think that this was the best case scenario for him. He saw it as a way to protect his members and in hopes to protect himself. And by breaking it up and giving members coverage so they could vote individually on these issues. I don't know why he decided to then have a conversation more recently with the House Freedom Caucus to try and appease them even more. I don't think that's going to help him. I think how he had set up this kind of plan was the best case scenario for him. So it still may end up where he has, Marjorie Taylor Greene or Thomas Massie bringing this motion to vacate the chair to the floor, but hopefully, enough members won't show up so that they can table the motion.
So let's talk about, so some Democrats, as John was saying, are publicly suggesting that they're ready to help him out. Jared Moskowitz is one of them, and he wrote this: Massie wants the world to burn. I won't stand by and watch. I have a bucket of water. And I think people may be glossing over what I think how big of a deal this is. The same Democrats who were happy to stand by and watch the mess that ensued after Kevin McCarthy was ousted. They are now, some of them publicly saying they are ready to help to make sure it doesn't happen again. That's big.
It's big, and they're right, because the world is on
Why?
fire. Well, the world is on fire. Look what's happening with foreign aid right now. You've got a mini World War III starting out already. You've got a conflagration in Ukraine that's been going on for years that is going to not go well for the Ukrainians, and God knows what that means for the rest of Eastern Europe if the United States doesn't step in. You've got a massive situation happening in the Middle East right now, a war potentially breaking out between Israel and Iran, which will make the Iran-Iraq war look like a garden party. It will probably make, to some extent, our involvement in Iraq look like a garden party.
Wrapped up with policy is always politics on Capitol Hill.
Always
Politically,
politics.
why is this beneficial to Democrats to not let the fire continue to burn?
Because Democrats need to show that they can govern. Democrats need to show that they are the party that can take this all the way to the American people and show that they actually have an ability to get things done. The Republicans are not interested in governing. They are, and that's what they have to prove.
They can show that at this moment. Maura, you may have a unique perspective on Thomas Massie, as I was just mentioning. He was part of the conservative rebellion in 2015 against then Speaker John Boehner. What is going on here?
It's all for show. I mean, Thomas Massie doesn't have a plan. He talked about how he has more people ready and rallied behind him than ousted Kevin McCarthy. Yet he did not mention a single name. He did not promote anyone who could actually get the job, not even get the job done, but get the job, get the votes to become Speaker. He doesn't have a plan. And so this is where I get really frustrated with the House Republican caucus, because they don't want to show that they can govern. They don't want to play ball and do the right things for the people that they purport to represent. So we've got a real problem as far as not only does this impact what's happening in our foreign aid with our allies and here at home, because our support for our allies supports us here at home. But for the election, what donor is going to look at this Republican conference and think, I should put my money there? They're ready to govern. They're taking this seriously. I don't know that you're going to find that. So it's going to hurt them in the election as well.
And maybe that's part of what Mike Johnson is saying, and in the rock and hard place he's found himself between. Also not lost here is that nowhere in the bills that are being discussed and being put on the floor is any of the border security measures that were demanded by House Republicans as a condition of approving foreign aid, especially when it comes to Ukraine. It is not hard to find quotes like this from the last few months. Byron Donald: I will not be voting for any Ukraine funding as long as the border is not secure. Senator Roger Marshall: at the end of the day, Republicans aren't budging on Ukraine funding until we secure the border. That's the question that all America is asking Joe Biden right now. Why do Republicans have to beg Joe Biden to secure the border? That's part of his job. You are not in the business of giving Republicans so much advice, but what case can and should Johnson and Republicans make for why they said that then, what they're presented with now, and when they want to look at border funding going forward?
Well, first of all, we had a border bill that you remember Donald Trump tanked, right? So if you want to blame somebody for that, it's not the president of the States.
It's just not so often so blatant,
right? And so you're absolutely right. You can't turn around and tank a really good border bill that was a really, really, really great border bill for Republicans.
It got Biden in trouble with some on the left.
Exactly. And then all of a sudden say, well, wait a second, the border is in chaos, so what are we doing supporting Ukraine? I mean, take the win, right? But they don't want to take the win. And the problem is they don't want to take the win because they need something to campaign on in November. And Democrats understand that. There's nothing you can give Republicans now, and I think Maury probably would agree, that would allow them to then say, great, we worked in a bipartisan way to secure the border. It's not a good message for them with their base, and that's why Democrats are serious about the fact that there's nothing they can do to appease Republicans on this issue.
And it also kind of comes all together. You've got now the impeachment of the Homeland Security Secretary, Alejandro Mayorkas, headed to the Senate. Mayorkas out this morning saying it's on Congress to actually get something done now. The situation at the border is quite serious. Are they back at square one when it comes to moving together, if that's even humanly possible at this point, on any additional work at the border? I don't.
You know, I think they missed a big opportunity there. And Senator Langford has expressed his frustration because they really threw him under the bus. He did the work. He made that bill so that Republicans would have wins. But what they are going to try and do, which they've already announced, is they're going to continue to push H.R. 2. And
how do you message it, though? I mean, I stopped my Google search like
they
two
continue
searches
to
in
say
with
that
some of these
Schumer
quotes.
should at least see it. Schumer should at least look at the bill. And their frustration is that they're not even taking it up to the Senate side. So, you know, that's going to be the argument. But
okay. if Mike Johnson's going to allow votes to come to the floor and just see where votes land, which is what Democrats are calling, okay, maybe there's the slice of the message that people should be taking. It's good to see both. Thank you very much.